want to start by saying I am not a vengeful person. I have always believed that if you work hard, if you show up every single day and give everything you have, good things will eventually follow. That is what I was taught. That is what I believed for a long time. And for 3 years at that company, I lived by it. I was the first one in most mornings and usually one of the last to leave. I trained new hires without being asked. I fixed problems that were not my responsibility because I actually cared about the outcome. I built systems that saved the team hours every single week. And I did all of it quietly because I was not doing it for recognition. I was doing it because it was the right thing to do. My manager noticed. My skip level noticed. I had glowing performance reviews 2 years in a row. Everyone on the floor knew that when something needed to be done properly, you came to me. And Marcus knew that better than anyone. He sat right next to me for 2.5 years. We ate lunch together almost every day. When he was struggling with his mid-year review, I sat with him for an hour and helped him frame his contributions in the best possible light. I celebrated when he got positive feedback. I introduced him to people across the company who I thought could help his career. I genuinely, truly thought he was my friend. So when the senior coordinator position opened up, the role I had been quietly working toward for 2 years, I told him I was going to apply. He looked me in the eye, smiled, and said, I deserved it more than anyone in that building. 2 weeks later, he walked in with a new badge. I remember sitting at my desk, just staring at my screen. My brain genuinely could not process what had just happened. My manager called me into a small meeting room and told me the decision had come down to initiative and demonstrated leadership. I asked her what that meant specifically. She hesitated, then pulled up a report Marcus had submitted to the leadership team. It was filled with my ideas, my exact structure, my data, in some places my exact wording, concepts I had shared with him privately over lunch, things I had mentioned casually as I was working through them, ideas I had trusted him with because I thought we were on the same team. He had taken all of it, cleaned it up, and submitted it to management the night before my interview. I sat in that room and kept my face completely still. I said, thank you for letting me know. I walked back to my desk. I congratulated Marcus out loud in front of the whole team. I smiled like nothing had happened. But something had shifted in me. Not anger exactly, something quieter than that, something patient. That same afternoon, I started keeping records. Every email that showed my original thinking, every Slack message where I had shared ideas with Marcus directly, every document with metadata, created dates, edit histories, version logs, showing exactly who had built what and when. I did not rush. I did not confront him. I just built a clean, thorough, completely factual paper trail over the next 6 weeks. I went home each night, had dinner, slept fine. I was not obsessing. I was just waiting. Then the company announced a cross-departmental review. An external audit team was coming in to assess productivity, workflow efficiency, and process innovation across all teams. Every employee was asked to submit documented evidence of their individual contributions over the past year. I submitted mine. Original files, timestamped emails, full version histories showing exactly when each document was created and by whom. A clear, organized record of everything I had actually built. Marcus submitted his, which referenced, in detail, work that had been created months before he had any involvement in it at all. The auditors are thorough people. That is their entire job. They noticed the discrepancy within the first day. They flagged it. They pulled the metadata. They compared dates. They requested communication logs. Then HR got involved. Then, from what I heard later, legal had some questions too. I was called in for one meeting. I brought my documentation. I answered every question calmly and completely. I did not editorialize. I did not say a single negative word about Marcus personally. I just showed them the facts in order with evidence attached. I left that meeting and went back to my desk and ate my lunch. Marcus kept his title for 11 more days. I was not offered his role. To be honest, I did not want it anymore. What I was offered was something I had not expected, a position at the company's regional headquarters, a meaningful salary increase, and a direct reporting line to a director who had read my actual work and wanted more of it. I accepted without hesitation. I spent my last week wrapping up my projects properly, documenting everything for whoever came next, because that is just who I am. On my final Friday, I sent a warm, genuine goodbye email to the entire floor. I meant every word of it. On my way out, I stopped by Marcus's desk. He looked up at me. I smiled. I told him it had been great working alongside him. I told him I hoped things worked out. And I walked out of that building and never looked back. Here is what I want to say to anyone who is sitting where I was sitting 6 months ago, watching someone else take credit for your work and wondering if it is even worth fighting back. You do not have to be loud. You do not have to be angry. You do not have to do anything dramatic. You just have to be patient. You have to document everything. And you have to trust that the truth, when it is well organized and clearly presented, has a way of making itself known. Karma does not always move fast, but in my experience, it moves accurately. If this happened to you, or if you have watched someone finally get what they deserved, drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and if you are new here, welcome. You're going to like it here.